Good day, everyone, ma'am. My name is Kent Ulrich Palomo. We are the group 3, and we discuss our topic for today is all about the global migration. So there are two basic types of global migration, which the international migration and the internal migration. So first of all, what is migration? So migration is defined as the movement of people over some distance, or at least from one migrating defining R to another, and from one usual place or residence to another. So migration is all about moving. So it can be permanent, seasonal, temporary, or it can be voluntary or forced. So we all know that there are people who wants to migrate. It's because of the family. Tungod kay naiilang family sa laing bansa, madto sila kay gusto nila na makita nila. Kay gusto sila na magkita sila nga magkapamilya. So pangaduha is the kanang work abroad. Gusto sila nga abroad aron makakwarta o aron usab nga makapadala sa ilang pamilya. The third is war. Mag-migrate sila gumikan kay naigira ana. So that's it. So proceed ta sa two basic types of global migration, which is the international migration. So ang internal migration mo na ang movement towards other countries. So mag ano lang sila anong move sila sa laing lugar kay gusto nila mo trabaho, gusto kay na ilang pamilya ana. So ang internal migration, meaning from one place to another within the country. So mandarayuhan ra sila pero sa within the country lang. Example, Surigao moadto kag Manila, gikan kag Bicol moadto ka og Siargao, gikan kag Legazpi moadto ka og Palawan ingana. So move from one place to another within the country na siya. So and the internal migration can be further broken down into 5 groups. Una mo ang immigrants. So those migrants are people who move permanently to another country for a fixed period. So immigrants mo itong mga tao nga move sa laing bansa, laing country kay kuan gusto nilang maybe gusto nila dito sila magpuyo permanently, no? So migrants, so it refers to the people who stay in a country for a fixed period. So mo ni siya mga tao nga kuan kining madto sa laing lugar kay mangita og trabaho ana nay para makatabang silang pamilya. Moto sila nga mga tao. So ang illegal immigrants, so it refers to the people who lives in other country when they do not have the illegal right to do that. So mo ning mga imigrante nga walay or nay illegal nga mga illegal nga proseso, no? Waya maagi sa sakto nga proseso aron makatrabaho lamang. So ang forced migrants whose families have petitioned them to move the destination country. So mo kini ang mga tao nga naipetition aron ma-move aron mo balis sa laing lugar sa specific country or destination country. So the last but not the least is the refugees. So refugees are someone who has been forced to flee his or her country because of persecution, war, or violence. So, mo ni nga mga tao nga force nga ipa-move sa laing lugar kay because of the persecution na mga violence na apoy because of war, no, mo gi-move sila aron mas safe sila, aron malipay sila sa disgrasya kana magikan sa kana nga lugar or kana nga county. Maro to. Salamat.
The migrant influx has led to a debate in the destination countries over the issues of whether migrants are assets or liabilities to national development. Anti-immigrant groups and nationalists argue that government must control legal immigration and put a stop to illegal entry of foreigners. For example, US o China. So, antayan lang, anti-immigrant groups nga kuan sila na mas kontrolon nila ang maabot ng mga tao gikan sa China kay basin kuan ini sila kanang mga assets ni padala gikan sa China para mag-imbestiga sa ilang lugar o sa badya kung sila ipanghimo na pwede kapihon sa China o kung sa ila development sa ila country. US President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Theresa May, who have been reversing the existing pro-immigration and refugee sympathetic policies of their states. Pag US ug UK gimo sila policy kay sila nabala na pod about anang mga foreign people na mabot sila lugar. Trump attempted to ban travel into the United States people from majority Muslim countries. So even those with proper documents, si Trump is naging mo siya travel ban sa mga tao, especially Muslim. Na bisan kung sakto na sila mga papel o tabad na visa o ano pa, na Trump is nag-consider travel ban pa basin kini sila mga assets ni labi na mga Muslim. The wisdom of this government action has been consistently belied by the data. So the one is naagya pa na siya ni kanila. Continue lagi hapon. In 2011, Harvard Business School survey on the impact of immigration on the labor market pegs for native from immigration. So, ang Harvard is nag-survey sila kung sa epekto aning mga foreigner to native kung sa epekto sa like sa ilang mga livelihood sila panginabuhi sa isa ka lugar. In 2013 report on government welfare spending by Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development o OECD shows that native-born citizens still receive higher support compared to immigrants. So mas taas pa ang suporta ng government kaysa so native people compared to immigrants, so yung mga foreigners.
Hi, I am Pamela Espaquiao and I'm here to tackle with you about the benefits and the detriments for descending countries. Now I am here to discuss the benefits for descending countries and the detriments, which is the damage or the cost for descending countries involved. Please stay tuned and keep watching this video. Why people immigrate or migrate to the other countries? Now there are some reasons why. Number one is desire to escape poverty. They hope to have new life when their work is going to appreciated with a higher salary. And number two is marrying a foreigner. With the development of internet, people from different countries have a chance to interact freely. Like in some digital platforms like internet, dating apps, something like that. And number three is finding a job. Professional reasons are to find a job, often enter long-term contracts that force to immigrate with their families, and to start new chapter of life in another country or place. Now, what are the benefits for sending countries? There are some benefits for sending countries. And the number one is employment rate. When a person exists country they were born in, they automatically reduce supply for available employees in local markets. On the other hand, it can be a positive thing. Employment rates pose constant problem as there are often more people looking for a job than a number of jobs available to them. And now the wages. When a person leaves, other people get a chance to become more sought out by employers. In turn, because of a decreasing supply of labor force, wages begin to rise, increasing people's income along with the value of education, which affects people's determination to develop their skills. The population level. For the country with a high level of population, immigrants are a blessing since they relieve pressure on resources. And now, for the detriments for the sending countries. The detriments is the damage or the cost. Number one is people working age move out, reducing the size of the country's potential workforce. Number one is imbalances. Number two, because as it is typically men who seek to find employment elsewhere, women and children are left. Why? Now let's move out to the brain drain. If many skilled workers leave, there is also fact that many highly intelligent people are recruited by representatives of more developed nations. By moving, they take their ideas, insight, and potential away from their homes and help other countries flourish instead. Now, for the taxes. An immigrant stops paying taxes to their country, which limits support and resources it receives. Sure, such as a person also loses chance to use local medical retirement or other services. But in the majority of cases, people pay more taxes than they use advantages coming from them. So the country's budget suffers. Therefore, some of the sending countries have having a benefits and some are not. Benefits and detriments for the sending countries. Even if 90% of the value generated by migrant worker remains in their countries. In 2014, India held the highest recorded remittance, 70 billion, followed by China, 62 billion. The Philippines is 28 billion and Mexico is 25 billion. More importantly, global migration is siphoning qualified personnel and removing dynamic young workers. This process has been often referred to as brain drain. So you know now the brain drain.
My name is Kirsten G. De Casto. My topic is about the problem of human trafficking. On top of the issue of brain drain, sending states most likewise protect migrant workers. The United States Federal Bureau of Investigation lists human trafficking as the third largest criminal activity worldwide. In 2012, the International Labor Organizations identified 21 million men, women, and children as victims of forced labor, an appalling 3 out every 1,000 persons worldwide. 90% of the victims, 18.7 million, are exploited by private enterprises and, and entrepreneurs. 22%, 4.5 million, are sexually abused, and 68%, 14.2 million, work under propulsion in agricultural, manufacturing infrastructure, and domestic activities. Human trafficking has been very profitable earnings. Syndicates, smugglers, and corrupt state officials profit of as high as 150 billion a year in 2014. Governments, the private sectors, and civil society groups have worked together to combat human trafficking, yet the results remain uneven. The take shows that human trafficking is very serious and widespread problem that affects millions of people around the world. It is a violation of human rights and dignity and a threat to global security and development. The text also shows that human trafficking is a very profitable and lucrative business for the traffickers who exploit the vulnerability and desperations of their victims. The text mentions that human trafficking generates 150 billion a year in profits for traffickers, which is more than the combined revenues of Google, Microsoft, and Apple. The text implies that human trafficking is a complex and multifaceted issue that requires coordinated efforts from governments, civil society, and individuals to prevent, protect, and prosecute. The text also suggests that there is a need for more awareness and education on the issue of human trafficking, as well as more support and assistance for the victims and survivors. One example of human trafficking is sex trafficking, which is when people are forced of coerced into performing sexual acts for the benefit of the traffickers or their clients. Sex trafficker Sex trafficking can occur in various settings such as brothels, massage parlors, hotels, streets, or online. Sex trafficking can affect both adults and children, but women and girls are disproportionately targeted. Sex trafficking can cause physical, psychological, and emotional harm to the victims, as well as expose them to health risks such as sexually transmitted infections, unwanted pregnancies, and abortion. Trafficking is a form of sexual violence and a violation of the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women.
Good evening, everyone. Despite these various contradictions, it is clear that different forms of global independence will ensure that global migration will continue to be one of the major issues of the contemporary world. Countries whose economies have become entirely dependent on globalization and rely on foreign labor to continue growing. Singapore, Saudi Arabia, and even protectionist Japan will actively court foreign workers. Likewise, countries like the Philippines, with the abundance of the labor and a need for remittances, will continue to send these workers. Hence, it is inevitable that countries will have to open up again to prevent their economies from stagnating or even collapsing. The various response of this movement, xenophobia and extreme nationalism in the receiving of countries, the independency in the sending of countries, will continue to be passing issues.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kyle Ochada from BET1. I'm going to tackle the global migration. Conclusion. Global migration entails the globalization of people unlike example, internal migration. Kana sa Manila nagtrabaho or igor nang inabuhi, nagpuyo maoning internal migration. Process it's an even some migrants experience their movement as a liberating process. A highly educated kaning mga high standard na mga tao, kaning mga bright kibali, mas ganahan pa sila mo migrate kay dako, kay mas bitter pa ang laing nasod kumpara sa Pilipinas. Mas advanced ang developed country like Japan, Germany, US, France. Mas dako ang ilang madawat nga salary before nga mag-work sila sa developed countries. Yet, despite these various contradictions, it is clearly that different forms of global migration will continue to be one of the major issues on the contemporary world. Kanina mga issue, mag-maintain na muna ng issue. Number 1, na sa laing nasod ng migration. Oh. Kuan. Kana mas ganahan sila mo migrate. Kay mas okay daw ang developed country, ma-experience sila unsa ba ka high-tech ang ilang pamaagi. Thank you.